Hello, guys. Welcome to Bridge the Breach, a podcast by ISME where we talk about an entrepreneur's journey. I, Rishabh Kukreja, Greeshma Gala, and Rameez Sable are your hosts for today's episode. Our guest for today is Shruti Pistolwala, who is the co-founder of Trudawn Solutions. It's a pleasure to have you here, ma'am.
It's my pleasure too.
It's okay. We can begin with the questions. Greeshma, would you like to ask the first one?
Yeah, sure. So as we know, like people when graduate from college and then do the startup and they have some motivation in their college life, some sort of. So how was your college life and how would you describe yourself as a student?
So from the academic perspective, I was an average student. Like my CGPA, I think was 8.3 or something. Apart from that, I was part of various co-curriculum activities. I did various internships. I was doing various projects, hackathons, etc., etc. So my orientation in technical direction was pretty clear. Like whatever I will do, it will be in the technical domain and nothing to non-tech. So that vision was pretty clear for me. And then in my fourth year, like as you guys know, the placements for core companies are not there. It's just for computer science and IT people who get the core jobs maybe. Other jobs are related to business development or analyst, something like that. So I was pretty clear that I don't want to do that. And then I decided, let me start my freelance. So I started developing things, hardware projects, software projects, soldering, etc., etc. And then I realized, okay, I have a thing, I have a portfolio to show. People want to give me their work. So then I started with the whole Trudawn solutions. And yeah, now we have a lot of clients and a good portfolio.
Yeah, that's great. You mentioned that you were part of like many extracurricular activities in the college, such as committees, maybe teams. So, how was your experience in them?
So from committees, you learn a lot of things, responsibility, teamwork, how to manage things, then how to I was in IIT. So in IIT, we have this competition called DJ Spark. So it's a state level project competition. So as a committee, we had to, do everything like from getting investors for the, for the stuff that we do for the decorations, the hardware part, etc., etc. Then the marketing of the whole event. So we need students for that. So everything was managed by the team. So from this part, you learn everything like how to talk to people, how to convince people, etc., etc. Yeah.
My question is, were you always leaning towards entrepreneurship, or did the idea really solidify only once you started doing freelance?
I have not thought about entrepreneurship in my first, second, or third year. I think in the fourth year it struck me because I was very, not annoyed, but I wanted to work in the technical domain and I was not getting that opportunity. So that time I decided, let me start my freelancing. And then since it was going good, and then people were, paying me also. And if I'm getting paid a lot, I cannot be a freelancer.
Okay.
I need to have a proper accounting part in place. So then I started Trudawn Solutions. And then also I needed to have a presence like, okay, this is a company and you can give projects to this company. And we have like very good projects like Bombay Stock Exchange Impact. So they had given us their project also. So apart from that, we also have few corporate clients like DTech India. Then even we have international clients. So from USA also we have few clients. And yeah.
Offshooting from that, being from a technical background, how did you learn to handle the business and financial aspects of entrepreneurship? Was there anybody in particular you turned to advice for?
Firstly, according to me, you do not require MBA or any degree to start a business. Okay, to start a business. Once the business becomes like you have 200, 300 employees, that time your MBA skills will come into picture. but until then you do not require. And yeah, I mean, I always have guidance, like I can ask my father, everybody, regarding how to manage things in the finance part, or legal parts also. Like I have friends who are lawyers, who are CA, so I have always asked them, like, is this right what I'm doing? So yeah.
Okay, so you said came the last year you were inclined towards hardware projects and then providing solutions because you didn't get any technical company as a placement. So how did you narrow down on Trudawn? Because you could also go for some product-based company using hardware.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I worked as a freelancer. So I was working in a hardware project at a company, and from there itself, I started my software projects. So in the technical consultancy of Trudawn Solutions, my projects that I do are hardware projects. So basically, my role comes into picture when hardware and software needs to be integrated. So that time, I am the person who is called, because you have a hardware engineer, you have a software engineer, you don't have both. And with Internet of Things, this is something a very major requirement. And just to correct the statement, I actually did not even sit for placements. I mean, uh, if there was even a core company, I did not sit, because it was not something that I wanted to do. I mean, the core company also did not have that profile, exact profile. So just to
Yeah.
correct that statement. Yeah.
So, like, can you tell us more about Trudawn a bit detail?
Yeah, so Trudawn's solution, as I mentioned, is a software development company, but in technical consultancy, we also do hardware projects. So until now, I mean, we have done a lot of projects. We have taken digital marketing. We have onboarded people. Like, it was started by me. I was one. Now we have 5 main people. Then we have interns. I think around 25 interns are there. And Trudawn solution is not just focusing on clients, or getting people on board, but we are also encouraging interns, I mean the students of engineering in various colleges, to develop their skills. So we have interns from DJ Sanghvi. I mean, we have so many interns in the past years from DJ Sanghvi and SPIT, Swami Vivekanand, etc., colleges, and they have learned a lot. Like, I especially take technical lectures also for them, so that they can understand the basic concepts, the practical concepts of how the things work. I mean, theory knowledge is there, of course, since you're studying engineering, but practically I have found that people don't know things. So then I personally teach them. I have my lecture series planned, and yeah, the tech team is always having some or the other lectures once in a month.
Okay, that's great. So I had a question like, how did you come up with the name of your company, Trudawn Solutions?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So, I mean, it's nothing very specific, but I mean, Trudawn is derived from a name of a dinosaur. So I love dinosaurs. Okay. So if you even see the logo, it is kind of a dinosaur sort of thing. So then, I mean, like, let me make it a name itself. But you cannot have a dinosaur as a name. So then after that, I added solution, Trudawn solution.
That's great. Like, that's very an interesting story, I can say.
Yeah, I mean, in Trudawn Solutions itself, like, we also have various other projects that we plan to do in our near future. So in that hierarchy itself, we'll have something related to restaurant management, hospitality, then etc., etc. So we have projects coming, we have future plans. So let's see how it goes.
So initially, when you started after fourth year, what all struggles did you face? Like getting people or getting clients. What all struggle did you face in that?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is, like, people ask about how old I am. That was the biggest struggle, because when you are young, people do not trust things. If you are 30, 40 years old, yeah, okay, this person has experience. I was just a fresher, so people had that kind of skeptical thoughts, okay, whether should I give this person the project or not. But then I showed my portfolio. I was good at talking to people. I mean, this were the skills that I developed during my co-curricular activities. So I think that helped me a lot while talking to people, convincing them, negotiating the deals. So as such, I did not have a lot of struggles. But yeah, I mean, there were few times where I had to struggle with understanding few things, like why I did not get the project, why was it rejected. So that was a bit of a struggle for me because I was young, and young people are not, very open to rejections. I guess you guys would be knowing that since you say you are in third year, so placement pressure will be there. So yeah, I mean, I would say I had struggles, but not very much, I guess, because I had a good portfolio to show, and if you have things to show, I don't think you have to struggle.
Everything at
Uh,
last comes down to experience, not
Yeah, exactly.
how much years you spend, how much you gather in whatever you spend.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a big company, they have a CTO also. So the CTO also asks me questions, the technical questions, and if you have the right answer, obviously you will get the job. If you don't have the right answer, you're not.
One quick question. Did you ever feel intimidated like talking to a CTO or a person who is very elder and experienced to you?
Yeah, I always have that, but I mean, with my project that I did, like the competitions I went, always the people who asked me questions were either a PhD person or a CTO or a co-founder of a company. So I was always able to answer those people, which developed the confidence for me. And then over here, it's kind of same thing. So I was not very nervous about things, but yeah, the first interaction might be like the first 2 or 3 minutes, but then it goes very smoothly.
so you mentioned that you were doing freelancing for a while after college and before starting Trudawn. So how did the experience help you with the startup?
As in, I developed the startup from this freelancing itself. I mean, it was first a freelancing. I mean, I did not have Trudawn solutions. After that, I decided, okay, since I have this portfolio, let me have a presence. So that's why I bought a domain, I hosted that domain, and then, yeah. Does that answer the question or something else for you asking?
No, we wanted to ask as in freelancing, we don't have a constant income. It all depends on the projects. So when you convert it to Trudawn solutions from freelancing, so the pattern was the same. So at any point, didn't you feel like I should have an constant source of income?
I had a constant source of income. So basically, the technical consultancy projects that I do, I wouldn't call them as a freelancing project. It is a contract-based job. For example, there is a project that requires 6 months of your project. So I have a 6 months contract, paid. So I will be paid for that job. So I always had that thing that I need to have one project constant. So yeah, I mean, it was a constant income for me. Yeah, it was not a lot like how my other friends were earning during that time, but now I think it was a good decision not to do what they did. I mean, for them it would be a okay. I'm not saying that they did a wrong thing, but for me, I think it has fallen to place now. The decision has fallen to place.
I have a question. As a founder, people often have the tendency to want to oversee all operations of the company. Was delegation of responsibility a new skill you had to learn? And how do you know that someone is capable of handling the delegated responsibility?
Okay, so I have always been team leads in anything or everything I do during my college time or during my school time. So I have that sense of understanding, okay, this is the right person for the job. From the personality traits, the work profile, the experience that you have. that tells a lot, especially the personality traits. So that's a good thing. That's a good question you asked. So I always see how the person reacts to a particular situation. So I give a particular situation and I understand how he or she is reacting. And if the answers are correct for that reaction, I think that's the person for the job.
Okay,
So for Trudawn solutions, I will say something. We just do not see the skill sets of grades. I mean, yeah, academics is important, but if you are a 6-pointer, it's all right for us. If you are the right person, you are hardworking, you are dedicated, you are punctual about things. You know how important this client is, how important this project is. I mean, for me, it's okay if you are not a 10-pointer, but these skills like working hard, being honest with things is very important. That defines, I think, the whole character of a person.
Okay, and this got developed, this knack you have got developed over the years through competitions, co-committees, and all the co-curricular activities you did.
Yeah, and also since as I mentioned, I did technical consulting, so I was going to an incubation center. Okay, so there were various other startups. I used to talk to the founders and co-founders of the startups. I used to understand how they are also doing things, how they are managing, are they using some software, some apps or something. So yeah, I mean, we also use a lot of platforms for our communication paths, etc., etc. So I think that also helped me a lot in understanding and managing stuff.
Okay, I have another question. Being a self-funded firm, how did you manage to keep a balance between expansion and customer acquisition and keeping the company afloat? Because that's something a lot of startups struggle with. They try to expand too quickly and then they aren't able to sustain that level, or they don't expand quick enough and then they become irrelevant. So how did you manage to find that right balance?
We always see to it that we have customers on board. Like for example, if we have developed a software, a website, or digital marketing projects, we always see to it that they do not leave us. So we always have that client uh, throughout the year who is always paying us throughout the year. So when you have a client who is always there, who trusts you what you do, then I don't think so you'll have that struggle. See, the startups that struggle are mainly because I mean, I would rather say they are hardware startups, because hardware startups require funding. Software startups generally do not require that kind of funding because the tools that we use are open source. You do not have to buy something. In case of hardware startups, you need to buy things. You get my point?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you have clients for in software startups, if you already have clients, then you will not struggle with the payment parts, like to pay the employees or other miscellaneous costs. Yeah, if you don't have that client, then yes, it would be a struggle. But I have not faced that. And apart from that, I always have technical consultancy projects, as I mentioned. So until now, I haven't faced that crisis. Yeah, with Corona, I would say a few things have, like new projects are not coming in sometimes. But yeah, that's all right, I guess, because we have the existing clients still with us. So that's the source of income we have. And yeah, the business development team is doing good. They are working on, expanding the businesses, then coming up with strategies in COVID-19, like how to handle things, because that's a big challenge for I think every company, not just startups, even companies, how to get people to do projects with you. I think even companies have started firing people, if I am not wrong.
Yeah.
Because of this COVID-19. So we haven't fired anyone. Everybody's there. So yeah. So we do not believe in that concept of firing people only because there is a crisis or something.
So when you started as a freelancer and converted into company, So did any of the clients when you were freelancing convert into your permanent clients?
All my clients are permanent clients. Like
They
for
converted, like when you were freelancing for them and it became permanent when you started Trudawn solution.
okay, so the freelancing projects are different. When I started Trudawn Solution, those projects are different. The freelancing projects have not been merged with Trudawn Solution.
Okay.
I mean, so basically, when Trudawn Solutions started, we signed contracts. I mean, you cannot do a project like that only without signing a contract. So with this people, the freelancing projects, I have not signed a contract. Okay, and they do not owe me anything. I do not owe them anything after the project is done. Like maintenance and service is not there. With Trudawn Solutions, maintenance and service comes into picture once you develop a software or a website or etc. etc. So once that comes into picture, uh, he or she is automatically your client.
So when you said you use open source softwares for client projects and stuff, so isn't there a fear of the project or the, I can say, code getting plagiarized or something?
Plagiarized? No. Open source, the definition of open source is not that you copy paste things. Open source as in you have tools available. Like for example, for coding, Sublime Text is open source. Visual Studio is open source. Code we write it ourselves. I do not copy the code.
Okay.
I mean,
So,
I think you got confused with the term open source. So I'm not talking about the GitHub codes or something. I'm just saying the tools that we use, the open source tools for writing the code or buying the server, etc., etc., configuring the server using the terminal, Linux terminal based laptop. So all these things are open source. Like Linux is open source operating system.
true.
So that's what I meant by we do not plagiarize anything.
So, in your early stages, how did you get associated with the clients? Like, how did you approach them?
So basically, in early stages, mostly people I knew who are starting their businesses or running some, small shops or businesses. I approached them like, do you want to build a website or web presence? So they gave me their projects, and slowly, from small scale to large scale, we developed. Like then we got project like DSC Impact, Bombay Stock Exchange Impact, then DTech India corporate clients. A few clients also from other states, not just Maharashtra states. So yeah, then accordingly from out of words everything developed, and I have like very good connections with a lot of company CEOs, CTOs, so they also recommend me, and then we have projects. Then business development team right now is working with their strategies, so they also get us clients. So yeah.
Okay, so what is your most satisfying moment like up till now, like after you started freelancing and started Trudawn Solutions? So the best moment you had with like any client or anything?
I think I would say the best project right now that I did was the NGO project. So there is one NGO project that Trudawn Solution did. I really like that project because the vision was very, clear to us, like what the NGO wants to do. And I really like their vision. And it was not just about the money that we got, but there are few projects that define few things for you. And that was one of the projects that defined, okay, yeah, this is something we did good. Not just from the project perspective, but this was something, the work that we did was something good. I mean, we worked for an NGO. We did a good cause. So that was, I think, a very good project for us. Moment I would say that when I got my first project would be, I think, the most happiest moment, because that was something. I mean, people had to trust me on it, and they had to give an entire big project to me. Yeah. So I think the first project would be the most happiest moment, because I mean, yeah, it's the first project.
Okay, so like as all of us are like constantly learning, so after being an entrepreneur, like what did you learn and how did it help you like in later stages?
Learning as an everyday is a learning for me. Not just technical part, but also the non-tech part, like understanding why people are not working. Like sometimes it happens that people don't work due to XYZ reasons. So all these things are learning for me. Then handling critical situations. These all things are learning for me, because you cannot be a aggressive person. When something is not going right, you cannot be aggressive with people. You need to be calm, composed, and handle the situation. So this is something that I learn every day actually. And yeah, it's going good.
Okay, so when you mentioned your most satisfying moment was when you got the first client, so wasn't there a fear of failure? Like, will I be able to do it? It's such a big project, and if something goes wrong, then what should I do?
Yeah, I mean, the fear was always there, and something goes wrong is always there with every client, because everything has a, every client has different requirements. Every client has a different, understanding of things. You must be knowing, like, if you use a different technology, then the entire process changes. So every time when you change from one technology to other technology, there has always been a risk, because something can go wrong. But yeah, I mean, risk is there everywhere. Like, even if you do a job, you have a risk of getting fired. So I think that's a normal thing. uh, and yeah, I mean, if until now nothing has gone wrong with from our side. So I think, yeah, if something goes wrong, then we'll have to see to it. But I don't think so. I mean, we have a very good team, experienced now with the various technology. They are also continuously upgrading themselves. Every 3 months we have audits about what they have learned, what they did. So I think that's something which helps to build things and not do mistake.
Okay, so can you, like, when you for example, develop a website and it goes online for the first time, it's on the internet. So, can you describe the moment, the happiness you get? Like, we made something that it's in the world for the people to see.
Okay, so this happiness was there for the first 2 to 3 clients. After that, the happiness is with the clients. I mean, the client gets more happy, and that is something worth seeing. Like the first 3 things, 3 projects that you do, okay, yeah, okay, this is something is live now. But after 3 to 4 projects, okay, you are satisfied, okay, yeah, okay, now we have things alive. But the new thing now you have to see is the client happy after seeing his website live? So the clients have always been happy. They have given the testimonial, like you can go on the website and check out. Every client has given a testimonial, a fabulous testimonial for the work that we have done. So yeah, I mean, it's amazing.
So we wanted to know about internships. Like Trudawn Solution also provides various internships to college students. So my question is, are internships that important for college students? And like, how should they go about it?
Okay, so talking from engineering perspective, you have 4 years, right? In 4 years, you have academic commitments, you have vacations that come up, etc., etc., and other related in December, Diwali vacation, sorry, Christmas vacation, Diwali vacation. So in this 4 years, you have a lot of time apart from your academic commitments, like literally a lot of time. And even I know, like, Mumbai University students do not study from day one of the course. So I know you guys are completely available. So I would say that take part in co-curricular activities, hackathons in your first 2 years or 3 years maybe. Then I would suggest to do at least one internship to gain experience, because at the end of the day, when you are hired, it is on your experience and not on your grades. I don't say don't study, have a decent grade, and decent grades is possible. Like even I managed to have a decent grade. 8.3 is a decent grade. You don't have to get a 10 pointer, work very, very, very hard. But I think decent grade is good to go. And yeah, I mean, do internships. I will definitely say do internship. It will help you a lot. I mean, the kind of experience, the professional experience that you will gain, the work ethics. I mean, it builds a character of a person once you do get into a professional, place. You learn a lot of things. You handle projects like at Trudawn Solutions. We give projects to the students too, and they handle it pretty well. I mean, they are briefed about things and then they handle it pretty well.
And so when we talk about students, for you it was pretty clear like how you saw you wanted to freelance and do your startup. But right now in second or third year, as we three, all of us, we are very confused as to do masters or seek a job or do a startup. So what would you advise us?
See, so currently I'm also doing my master's at Technical University of Munich, apart from handling my business. And over here also I'm working as a working student in one of healthcare startups. So I would say that you should do your master's, but the point of doing masters should be clear. It shouldn't be that my friends are doing masters, so I should do masters. That shouldn't be the point. That shouldn't be the goal, because I am aware about it. Like in DJ Sanghvi, it's a trend. Like everybody goes to USA for masters, but that shouldn't be the reason to do masters. And people have that as a reason to do masters. I am aware about that too. Okay, so that shouldn't be the reason. And I would say if you are a technical person, go and do a master's, because after coming to Germany, I have learned a lot of things, like a lot of technical things that I couldn't learn back in India. I have learned here. I have access to a lot of things because I'm a university student, so we get a student related discounts, or it's free for students. So using that privileges, I'm able to do a lot of things. So I would suggest to go for a master's. But again, your final goal should be clear. What is your intentions? So for you three, I don't know whether you are interested in a technical background or a non-technical background. But if it's a technical, I would definitely say go for a master's, gain knowledge. Because I think just doing processing related work will not make you happy. You need to understand everything, why this is happening, the application part. So for application part, you need to understand the subject matter in more depth. So for that, I think master's is a good option. And yeah, go on.
No, I just want to ask a further question. So, like you do masters and you handle Trudawn at the same time, plus you do technical projects. So, can you give us an insight about time management and generally how your day goes?
Yeah, I mean, I have planned things like, okay, this 3 days I have to do this 3 days I have to do this 2 days I have to do this. So that picture is pretty clear for me. Okay, this much time I have to invest per day in this part. And talking about academics have been a bit difficult for me, at least in Technical University of Munich, because it's a very tough university. I mean, it's one of the top leading universities of Europe, and yeah, the process of their education is pretty tough. There is a cultural difference, so it has been a difficult journey for me. But yeah, now I have managed things pretty well, and yeah, I mean, the first semester was a disaster for me, to be very honest. But yeah, I mean, after that, I understood things how I have to manage, and then yeah. I mean, few things take time, but yeah, that's what your 20s are for. I mean, don't just jump into a particular field. Explore things, what your interests are, and then go ahead. I mean, take risks. I would say that.
Yes, true.
Speaking of taking risks, is there any piece of advice that you would like to give to graduates who want to become entrepreneurs in general and with the context of today's environment?
Yeah, just go for it. I mean, risk is there everywhere and in every field. Like, even if you go for a job, currently, I know how the situation is there. Like, the market is very bad. You guys might, in India, I think people are even getting fired. So, risk is there everywhere. In entrepreneurship, also, there is a risk that you might not get funding, or you might not have clients. But I mean, you'll have to go for it. You'll have to struggle. Everywhere, I think everywhere, every domain has a risk. So that, I think, is out of picture, that saying that in entrepreneurship only there is risk. No, it's everywhere.
Depends on
Because
what
I know
risk.
people who have a permanent job also getting fired. So if you have a permanent job, you're getting fired. So I mean, it's a risk.
Depends on what risk you want to take.
Yeah, I mean, at least people who are in their 20s do not have, that family pressure. Ki, I have a kid, I have a wife, I need to support them. No, you don't have that pressure, right? So that's what I'm saying. Your 20s are for exploring things, take risk, do things. I mean, explore things like different domains, not just the mechanical or, you know, software, electronic. Do other things also, like marketing, or I don't know, data analytics, business development, etc., etc. Explore yourselves.
So now we have a segment like this or that. It's just a fun segment. So we'll be giving two options, like say cat and dog. So you'll have to select one, which you prefer.
Sorry, I did not get you.
You'll have to select one option which you prefer. Like I'll be giving you two options. For example, cat and dog.
Okay.
So this is just a fun segment that we do.
So what I have to answer, cat or dog, either one of.
Yeah, either one of them.
Okay.
So coming first is running or hiking,
Running.
call or text,
Call.
tea or coffee,
Tea.
beach or mountains,
Beach.
ice cream or pastry,
Sorry, I did not get you. Sorry.
ice cream or pastry.
Ice cream, you said, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
ice cream.
Movies or web series,
Web series.
comedy or thriller,
Comedy.
Elon Musk or Bill Gates.
Neither.
Okay, then who?
Jack Ma or Ratan Tata.
Nice. Actually, very interesting. Your inspiration behind Ratan Tata?
I mean, I feel that he's not just a businessman, he's an industrialist. He is a person who knows how to talk to people. That's the main thing. Like, I have seen many founders, co-founders, or any business people who just shouts at their employee, why is this not done? This man knows how to talk to people. Even Jack Ma, in that case, he is a down. Both these guys are down to earth person. They know their stuff. They know how to do business. They know how to talk to people. The main thing, which people don't know. So I think these are the few qualities that I find more interesting than just being successful.
That's good. I agree actually on Ratan Tata. Like I personally have seen some of his videos and he has a very good hold over people, I can say.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, the way he handles things, the way he speaks has always been very, promising. So you can actually watch this from Simmi Garewal YouTube video. You know Simi Garewal, right? I mean, I don't know. So just Google about it.
Yeah,
She
we'll
has
check it
taken a
out.
interview with Mr. Ratan Tata. So just go through that video. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll
he was
definitely see.
handed over the business from Jamshedpur, and yeah, I mean, they did not have any relations till he handed it to Mr. Ratan Tata. That's a huge thing. I mean, you do not hand over a business to someone random. It's generally a family member, right? To whom you hand over. He was not a family member, so definitely something good qualities he must be having. That's why I was handed.
True.
Another thing I'd like to say about Ratan Tata is he seems very genuine, because a lot of these
Yeah.
successful people, when they say nice things, it seems rehearsed. Ratan Tata gives off the vibe that he is genuinely a very nice person.
Yeah, exactly. You come to know, the personality trait, how you speak, how you conduct yourself says a lot about you guys. I mean, any person, not just Ratan Tata, any person. Yeah, go on.
Coming to conclusion, I'll have to say that this is the end of the segment and sadly this episode. We would like to thank Shruti Ma'am for spending time with us and sharing some valuable insights. You can follow her on all social media platforms, which will be linked in the comments.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. You guys have done a wonderful job. I mean, the questions were really good. The segment was also pretty good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
for being with us.
Should I leave or?